Hello everyone. I Dr. Mamta Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Kishanlal Public College, Rewari, will be discussing issue of shares, which is a topic of corporate accounting. In our previous two lectures, we have already discussed some important concept of issue of shares. So here in this lecture, we will be discussing the rest slides of this PPT. As we have already discussed these slides in our previous lecture. So now we will start with our entries in case of coals in arrear. Let's have an overview of the previous lectures. In our previous lecture, issue of shares part 1, we have discussed the corporate accounting, basic concept or the basic meaning of corporate accounting. Then issue of shares, journal entries for the issue of shares, as well as the different types of share capital, different type of shares. In our second lecture for issue of shares, we have discussed issue of shares in different cases like issue of shares at par, at premium, at discount. We have discussed these topics along with some illustrations or along with some practical problems and its solutions. So now, without wasting much more time, let us start with some other important concepts of issue of shares. The topic is entries in case of coals in arrear. Coals in arrear is a case when the company do not receive the entire amount of its coals. There may be two types of coal, share first coal and share second and final coal. There may be a case when the shareholders do not pay the full amount at the time of first coal or maybe at the time of second coal. When the shareholders do not pay the full amount or full due amount of their coal, then this amount which is not paid by the shareholders to the company is known as coals in arrear. A company has to show its effect into their accounts. It means when the company do not receive any amount at the time of coals, then it has to record this effect. There may be two ways for recording the transactions, like first without opening of coals in arrear account, and second one is by opening the coals in arrear account. Without opening of coals in arrear, it's very simple to pass the journal entry without opening of coals in arrear account. When the company do not want to open a separate account naming coals in arrear account, it can pass the journal entry without preparing this account. So how it will be recorded? It is very simple. First, one must know that which amount is not being received by the company. Like it may be a chance when share first coal money is not received, or there may be a chance when share final coal money is not received. So whatever the case may be, first we should keep in mind then first due entry is to be passed. Clear? So first we will pass the due entry for first coal as well as for the final coal. Then we will check then what amount is not being paid by the shareholders. Like we assume that the shareholders have not paid money for their first coal. Clear? So first we will pass the due entry for the share first coal, and in the due entry we will pass in the same way as we have discussed in our previous lecture. Clear? Like share first coal account debit to share capital account. Then the share coal account shall be credited by the amount paid by the shareholder. For the unpaid amount, the share coal account shall be credited as when the company receive the balance amount. Clear? Second effect is by opening the coals in arrear account. When the company want to open a coals in arrear account, it has a choice to create a different account naming coals in arrear account. Coals in arrear account shall be debited at the time of receive of coal money. Here in this slide, in both the cases, journal entries are given. Like if you go for first option, without opening coals in arrear account, the following entry shall be passed. If we wish to open the coals in arrear account, we have to follow the journal entries which are written. So let us discuss these journal entries. First case, when the company do not want to open the coals in arrear account. Clear? So first, share first coal account debit to share capital. Like the first coal money is rupees 10,000. We have assumed that the share first coal money is rupees 10,000. Clear? And 2,000 is not paid by the shareholder. So in that case, when we do not open the coals in arrear account, we will simply pass the journal entry for the receive of first coal money. What will be the entry? Bank account debit to share first coal account. Clear? In first entry, we will debit the share first coal with the rupees 10,000, but when we receive the money, we will only credit rupees 8,000. We will only credit this share first coal with rupees 8,000. So there is a difference of rupees 2,000 which is not paid by the shareholders to the company. So what is to be done with this rupees 2,000? The shareholders will be allowed to pay this amount along with the final coal or on another due date. Clear? So as when they pay this amount, we will receive this 2,000. There is no need to again pass the due entry. Reason being, we have already passed the due entry for entire 10,000. So whenever the shareholder pay this 2,000, we will simply pass the journal entry for the receiving of this balance money. So what will be the entry? Bank account debit to share first coal account. Amount will be rupees 2,000. This is a case when the company do not want to open the share coals in arrear account. It is a very simple way for the students to record the transaction in this manner, as you need not to remember coals in arrear account. But sometime it is strictly to be followed that the coals in arrear account is to be opened. So whenever we have to strictly open the coals in arrear account, then we must record it in the transaction. Clear? So what will be the entry? First we will pass the due entry, which will remain same. Share first coal account debit to share capital account. Like rupees 10,000 is for the share first coal. Clear? It means one thing is very clear. Either it is a case of without opening coals in arrear account or with opening of coals in arrear account. Due entry will remain same. That means there will be no effect on the due entry of share first coal. Reason being, it is the effect which we have to record while receiving this first coal money. Clear? So first case, when we do not open, we will simply reduce the amount. Like from 10,000, it is to be reduced to rupees 8,000. But as we have to open coals in arrear account, so this is we have to written in the transaction as well, in the journal entry as well. So what will be the entry? First, bank account debit to share first coal. It is very clear to all of us. Bank account debit to share first coal. Now you have to decide share first coal or coals in arrear account. Like coals in arrear account is to be debited or credited. coals in arrear account is to be debited. Reason being, debit all the expenses and it is like your expense. Clear? Coals in arrear is like a loss for the company. Company do not receive this 2000, which there may be a chance that the company will also not receive this amount in the upcoming days or in the future. So this is a loss to the company. Clear? So bank account debit, coals in arrear account debit to share first coal. This is the case of coals in arrear. Clear? Now move to the next topic. An important topic, or we can say that an important concept in relation to the coals in arrear account. Interest on coals in arrear account. Do you understand the concept of interest? I hope you all understand the concept of interest. Coals in arrear. Coals in arrear means the amount which is not paid by the shareholders to the company. In that case, the shareholders has to pay interest on this coals in arrear. Like in the previous slide, we have discussed that the share first coal money is rupees 10,000 and 2,000 is the arrear amount which is not paid by the shareholder. So there may be a difference, like in September your first coal was due but the shareholder paid the first coal money in December. So for October, November, December the shareholder has to pay interest. Clear? Up to 30th September the shareholder has to pay money to the company, but the shareholder was not able to pay the money and then he has paid this money in December, on 31st December. So there is a lag of 3 months. So for this 3-month period the shareholder has to pay interest to the company. Reason being, this is the amount. If the company receive this amount in September, then the company can invest it into further securities and can have better returns. But as the shareholder did not pay this amount, so the company was not able to invest this amount in the further securities. So for the sake of return, or we can say that it is a default on the part of the shareholder. So to overcome this default, the shareholder has to pay interest to the company. Clear? So what shall be the journal entry? Here interest for the shareholder is a loss, but for the company it is a income. So one thing we must know, that it is to be credited. Clear? Interest is a nominal account and we all know the rule of nominal account. Debit all the expenses, credit all the incomes. So one thing we are very clear, that interest on coals in arrear account is to be credited. Now decide the debit, as it is a double entry system. We first have to decide on which account is to be credited. This interest is to be paid by the shareholders. So shareholders has to be debited. So sundry members account debit, we will not use shareholder word, we will use sundry members. So sundry members account debit to interest on coals in arrear account. Clear? Sundry members are the shareholders by whom this interest is to be paid, and interest on coals in arrear account is to be credited, as it is like a revenue or income for the company. First interest due entry, then interest receive entry. What shall be the receipt entry? We all know very well, bank account debit what comes in. So bank account debit, who will pay this interest? It is the shareholders who has to pay the interest. So bank account debit to sundry members. Clear? After this receipt of interest, we have to transfer this interest to statement of profit and loss account. As in our first entry, we have credited this interest. So now we have to transfer this interest. We will debit this interest. You know the rule of transferring any amount, like when you have debit, in case of transfer or in case of written off, you will credit. When you credit any account and you have to write off this account, then you will debit. So here in this case we have credited interest. So for transferring it to statement of profit and loss account, this account is to be debited. Clear? So interest on Coalsin arrear account debit to statement of profit and loss account. Clear? So there are basically 3 entries which one has to pass while passing these journal entries regarding interest on Coalsin arrear account. First, interest due entry, then interest receipt entry, and then transferring this interest to statement of profit and loss account. Clear? Another case which is very important, Coalsin advance, arrear advance. Make a distinction between these two words. Arrear, the amount which is not paid by the shareholders. Advance, the amount which is already paid by the shareholders. It means it was due later but it is already paid. Like in December you have to pay, but you have paid this money in September. That means 3 months before your due date. Clear? So first we will pass the journal entry for this receipt of advance money. Always for the receipt we debit the bank account. So bank account debit. What account is to be credited? Definitely it's Coalsin advance account. Reason being, we have received this amount in reference to the Coalsin advance account. So bank account debit to Coalsin advance account. Then we will adjust this advance money. How we will adjust this advance money? It depends upon the coal. That means against which coal you have received this advance money. There may be so many cases like you may receive advance money at the time of allotment. Like a company may receive advance money at the time of allotment for its first and final coal. There may be a case when the company receive advance money at the time of first coal for the second coal. Clear? That means a shareholder have option to pay their entire amount at one point of time. Like they may pay their allotment money along with the first and final coal money, like first and final coal money along with its allotment money. So it depends upon the shareholders, their choice, how they pay their money. So make a distinction between these two cases. Arrear, advance. Arrear, it is a negative point for the company. Advance, it is a positive point for the company. Arrear is an amount which is not paid by the shareholders on the due date. Advance, which is paid by the shareholders before the due date. Clear? So first, in case of advance money, we will receive the money and then we will transfer this money to that particular case. Like at which case, for which coal you have received. Like if we have received this for allotment, then it shall be adjusted against allotment. If the company has received advance money as against first coal, then it shall be adjusted against first coal and for the rest of the cases. We assume here that it is against the coal money. Like at the time of first coal, the shareholder has paid second coal money also. Clear? So first receipt entry, bank account debit to Coalsin advance account. Whatever amount has been paid by the shareholders in advance will be debiting bank account and crediting Coalsin advance account. Clear? Then we will adjust this money, this advance money. Like if it is for second call, at the time of first call he has paid his second call, so we will receive this amount at the time of first call, but the journal entry for adjusting this money will be at the time of second call. Simply it is for the actual transaction, that means when it was actually due. Clear? So bank account debit, as we have to cancel or we have to adjust, always keep in mind that when we have to adjust, when we have to transfer, and when we have to write off any account, then the reverse effect is to be shown. Like in our previous entry, it was to calls in arrear, that means calls in arrear account was credited. Reason being calls in advance account. Reason being calls in advance is like a benefit for the company, and we say that credit all the incomes or revenues. This is why it was bank account debit to calls in advance account. Clear? So now, as in this previous entry, calls in advance account was credited, now at the time of cancelling or adjusting this amount, it has to be debited. So bank account debit, calls in advance account debit to share call account. Bank account debit, this bank account is for second call, as this amount is to be adjusted against the second call. So this bank account is for the second call, and to share call account is for the second call. So one point, make it very clear that share second call due entry will remain same. There will be no effect on the due entry of share second call. We will adjust this amount only at the time of receiving the second call. Clear? So whenever you have to pass the journal entry for calls in advance, first make a distinction, or first have a concept, first understand the concept that when the company has received this advance money. So the date on which the company received the advance money, the company will pass the journal entry for receiving this advance money on that particular date. Then second thing, we must know that for which amount or for which call or for which term the company has received this advance money. Then we will adjust this advance money. Like it is against the second call money, then it will be adjusted against the second call money. So it depends upon the nature of the information given in the problems. Clear? An important topic, interest on calls in advance account. Interest on calls in advance account. Calls in arrear, calls in advance. Then we have discussed interest on calls in arrear account. Now the concept is interest on calls in advance account. I think after understanding interest on calls in arrear, it is very simple to understand interest on calls in advance account. Here interest is a profit or loss. It depends upon the nature of calls in advance. First, we must know that this amount is like a surplus for the company. Clear? Calls in arrear was like a deficit for the company. Calls in advance is like a surplus for the company. So it was the choice of the shareholder. If he wishes to pay, only then he will pay advance money. Clear? So understand this concept with an example. The shareholder has to pay first call in the month of September. Clear? The shareholder has to pay share first call in the month of September. But the shareholder has sufficient money to pay first call, and he pays this amount along with the allotment which was due in June. Clear? So when he pays his allotment money in June, he also pays his first coal money. So when was the share first coal was due? It was due in September, and allotment money was due in June. So the company in that case has received a surplus money in the month of June instead of receiving it in the month of September. So the company has received a surplus money for 3 months, July, August, September, and the company can invest this money for 3 months and can have better returns. Clear? So in that case, the company has to pay interest to the shareholders. Clear? One thing, it is very clear, when it is a case of coal seam arrear, it is like a loss for the company, but the interest which will be received by the company on coal seam arrear is a benefit for the company. Clear? Coal seam advance is like a surplus for the company. It is like a income for the company, but the interest which is paid on coal seam advance is like a expense for the company. Clear? So I hope now you all understand what will be the journal entries at the time of interest on coal seam advance. Now just tell me, or just understand the concept that how we will record this interest. One thing is very clear, that first interest due entry is to be passed, then the payment entry is to be passed, then we will transfer this interest on coal seam advance to statement of profit and loss account. Clear? So for the interest due, now the company has to pay. So this interest is an expense for the company. So what will be the journal entry? First, one thing is very clear, that interest is a nominal account and we use the rule that debit all the expenses. So this interest is to be debited. Interest on coal seam advance account, debit. Now what account is to be credited? Definitely this interest is to be paid to the shareholders. So to shareholders account. But as in our previous slide we have already made it very clear that we will use sundry members instead of shareholders. Clear? So interest on coal seam advance account, debit to sundry members account. Then for the payment entry, sundry members account, debit to bank account. Sundry member account is debited, reason being it is a personal account, and debit all the receiver. Then to bank account, as we use the rule credit the giver, credit what goes out, it is a real account. Clear? So sundry member account, debit to bank account. Then we will write off this interest, or we will transfer it to the statement of profit and loss account. Whenever we write off any account, one thing we always know, that how we have previously recorded this item. In the first entry we have debited, so now for transferring it will be credited. So to which account is to be credited? It is statement of profit and loss account. So statement of profit and loss account, debit to interest on coal seam advance account. Here in this illustration, 4 lakh shares are issued by the Sunrise Limited. Application money is 25, allotment money is 25, first coal money is 20, and the balance when required. So how we calculate this balance money? The share is of rupees 100 each. Then we will add the given balances, which are 25 plus 25 plus 20. It is 70. So the balance will be rupees 30. Clear? So the final coal is of rupees 30. All monies payable on application and allotment was duly received. But when the first call of 20 per share was made, one shareholder holding 100 shares failed to pay the amount due and another shareholder holding 200 shares paid them in full. Record these transactions in the journal and also prepare the opening balance sheet of the company. Again, repeat the concept. All the money payable on application and allotment were duly received. That means there is no any doubt on application and allotment. But when the first call of 20 per share was made, one shareholder holding 100 failed to pay the amount due and another shareholder holding 200 share paid them in full. So for just having an overview for the basic journal entry, we start with the application money. Clear? So first, the entry for the receive of application money, bank account debit to share application account. All money on application was duly received. So first number of share is rupees 4 lakh, application money is rupees 25. Out of this 4 lakh, company has issued 2000 shares. So now we will use this 2000 multiplied by 25. It is rupees 50,000. Now we will transfer this application money to share capital account. Share application account debit to share capital account rupees 50,000. One thing which we will keep in mind, that it is a case of issue of share at par. Clear? Reason being, the shares are issued at its face value. Share was of rupees 100 each and the given balances or the given money at the time of application, allotment, first and final call is also rupees 100. That means the issue price and the face value is same. So this is why we will not take any premium or discount. Clear? Now for the allotment, first due entry is to be passed. Share allotment account debit to share capital account. 2000 shares multiplied by 25. Allotment money is 25. So rupees 50,000. It was clearly mentioned in this practical problem that all the money on application and allotment was duly received. That means there is no discrepancy at the time of application and allotment. Now after the due of allotment, we will receive this allotment money. What is the entry? Bank account debit to share allotment account. Total 50,000 now will be debited. Clear? So 4 entries do not have any effect of making advance or arrear amount. Clear? So now start with the rest of the information. All money payable on application and allotment were duly received, but when the first call of 20 per share was made, one shareholder holding 100 shares failed to pay the amount due. Clear? So at the time of first call, one shareholder do not pay the call money holding 100 shares. Clear? So first the due entry for first call is to be done, but there will be no change in the due entry as we record the effect of arrear at the time of receiving the call money. Clear? So due entry is share first call account debit to share capital account. Number of share is 2000 and first call money is rupees 20. So 2000 multiplied by 20, it is rupees 40,000. Clear? Then the entry of receiving the share first call. As in our previous lecture or in our previous slides, we have already discussed, there are two ways to record this calls in arrear. Without opening calls in arrear account and with opening of calls in arrear account. It is up to your own choice. Either you move to first option or second option. If it is strictly to be followed that you have to create the calls in arrear account, then undoubtedly you have to create calls in arrear account. But in this statement, it is not mentioned that you have to open a calls in arrear account. So you need not to create this account. Clear? If you want to open, definitely there is no any doubt. You can also open it. Clear? So for receiving bank account debit to share first call. First understand only up to this. Clear? Share first call is of rupees 40,000. Clear? One shareholder holding 100 share failed to pay the amount due. 100 shares. So 100 shares have not paid their first call money. 100 multiplied by 20. The company has not received total rupees 2000 out of 40,000. Clear? First call money was of rupees 40,000 and the company has not received 2000. That means the company has actually received 38,000 in relation to the first call. Clear? So if in this statement, if we ignore the information regarding the calls in advance, then what should be the entry? Bank account debit to share first call account along with the amount of 38,000. Clear? But there is another statement given in this illustration, which is and another shareholder holding 200 shares paid them in full. That means 200 shares have paid their final call at the time of first call. Clear? So at the time of first call, we have to also record this transaction. Ignore the first call. Just only take this 200 into consideration. What should be the entry? Bank account debit to calls in advance account. Clear? Calls in advance is for final call. So 200 multiplied by balance. Final call money is rupees 30. Clear? This 200 who have paid them in full, this is for final call. It means these shareholders have paid their final call money at the time of first call. So final call money is rupees 30. So 200 multiplied by 30, amount is rupees 6,000. You have a choice to pass the journal entry of share first call and calls in advance separately. It means first pass the journal entry, first pass the due entry for share first call. Clear? Which is share first call account debit to share capital account 40,000. Then you can pass your first call receipt entry, which will be bank account debit to share first call account. Out of 40,000, we have not received 2,000. So bank account will be debited with 38,000. Clear? Then 200 shareholders paid them in full. What should be the entry? Bank account debit to calls in advance. 200 multiplied by 30, it is rupees 6,000. Now it is up to your own choice. You merge these two transactions or you can pass a single journal entry to show the effect, which is given in this solution. Bank account debit to share first call account and 2 calls in advance. Bank account will be debited with rupees 44,000, which is a total of 38,000 on account of first call receipt, 6,000 on account of calls in advance. Clear? And then if you open a calls in arrear account, then you can record in this way: calls in arrear account debit to share first call account, which is rupees 2,000. Clear? I hope this lecture will help you to understand the concept of calls in arrear and calls in advance account. That means how we pass this journal entry in case when the shareholders do not pay their call money or when they pay their money in advance. There may be different cases when the interest entries are also to be recorded, which we will be discussing in our upcoming lectures. Thank you.